Good morning. Welcome to Unicoi County High School in Unicoi County, Tennessee. My name is Paisha Hogan. I am Northeast State's Assistant Vice President of Multi-Campus Programs. Today, however, I'm here on your behalf as we tour Unicoi County High School, meeting Northeast State personnel as well as Unicoi County High School administrators and staff members. Let's begin by your meeting the rest of the Northeast State team.
Hi, I'm Whitney McLaughlin, and I'm the coordinator of the Career and Technical Education Dual Enrollment Program at Northeast State.
Hello, I'm Shelby McKenzie. I'm the director of the University Parallel Dual Enrollment Program at Northeast State.
Hello, I'm Kathy Coleman, the Dean of Academic Advising and Director of Retention Services at Northeast State.
Hello, I'm Chris Demas, Dean of the Library at Northeast State.
Our first stop on the tour is the counseling office.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine. Thank you for the opportunity to visit with you
No problem.
today. Just have a few questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Want to learn more about the partnership that you have with Northeast State in relation to dual enrollment programming. The first question, what processes do you follow in working with the college's personnel to determine the classes to be offered?
Okay. So, counselors and the administration will meet to see what kind of classes will fit into our schedule, and then we work with your dual enrollment office to see the classes that you guys have offered and which ones would be the best fit for our student needs.
And who is your primary contact with Northeast State?
For dual enrollment?
Yes.
Shelby's office.
Okay. What types of academic support services are provided to students here?
So, one of the things that we are super proud of is the teachers are actually on site for the classes here. And then throughout the year we have peer tutoring, and then all the dual enrollment students have access to student services at Northeast. They have access to us as counselors, and we communicate regularly with the teachers for any students that might have different issues. They'll make that aware to us so that we can pull them in, talk to them. There's the one-on-one technology, which we'll show you downstairs, and then just really communication between us and them to ensure the students are succeeding.
Okay. So, since you mentioned technology, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions about technology?
Sure.
Okay. If you would, just provide an overview of the types of technology available to the dual enrollment students.
Okay, so when we go to the classroom, you'll see that they'll have desktop computers in the classroom for themselves. And then all of the students in the high school have their own Chromebook. And so each student will have their own Chromebook and then access to like the student services and the technology department in the library if any issues there arise.
And what are the processes and procedures that you have in place to ensure that the technology is current?
So we have a technology worker here on site with us just to make sure like Wi-Fi, internet capabilities are up to par, and then down at the CTE program in the CTE building where the classroom is housed, just to ensure that that technology will work, since a lot of the dual enrollment stuff is based off of that technology.
Okay. Let's say that I have a problem with my Chromebook and I bring it in. What happens next?
There's an office in the library. Mr. Street works, and then if he's unable to fix it, then the technology department from central office will send someone to help or replace the device.
Okay. And one other question that should have been my very first. Would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Justin Sorowski. I'm one of the school counselors here.
All right. Thank you, Justin.
No problem.
I believe our next stop is the library.
Yes.
This side, but there was sound in here. And that shows a picture of it. Now we go to in Germany. See, they're shown everywhere. There were revolts in France, revolts in Italy, revolts in Great Britain, and now we are seeing revolts in Germany. Revolts in the German statehood. News of the 1848 revolution in France led to upheaval in other parts of Europe. Congress of Vienna, which lasted from 1814 to 1815, had recognized the existence.
Good afternoon. Thank you for meeting with us today. Since there's a class going in the library, we'll just ask our questions and have our discussion here in the hall, if that's okay.
That sounds great.
If you don't mind, introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Carla Kiesacker, and I am the librarian here at Unicoi County High School, and I've been here for 17 years.
So you know those holdings well then. Give us a snapshot, an overview of the library's holdings.
Sure. I have over 10,000 holdings. I have 98% print, 2% digital. I have around 3,000 fiction and around 7,400 nonfiction. And I have a variety of paperbacks, a few graphic novels, and I also have a little bit of reference, but my reference is mostly online.
Okay, so you've described the print resources. What is available online?
Online is mostly fiction. There's around 78 titles in nonfiction and around 103 for fiction.
In addition to the physical resources and the online resources, what types of technology are available for students' use in the library?
Inside the library, as far as a physical space, we do have 10 computers available. I also have a smart TV in which we can do classes, they can do presentations, and then a lot of my resources are through my website, in which I have access to our catalog. Also, they have access to the Tennessee Electronic Library, research information, book recommendations, and activities that the library is having.
And I believe you've been in the library ever since Northeast State and Unicoi County became partners in dual enrollment.
Correct.
And so you're familiar with the classes that have been offered over time. Of course, currently it's English composition. Have you found that the library's resources have been adequate to support the college assignments given in those classes?
I believe so, yes. I think that especially with the help of the link to Northeast State's dual enrollment program, I have a link to that on my website, so that supports our students. And also the fact that we get free access to Tennessee Electronic Library, which is a huge help to our students.
Okay. So then, if you don't mind, tell us about the access students have to the library as far as when it's open, when they can come in and use it.
In a typical year, the teachers would actually, I'm on an open schedule, so they can sign up and bring their students in anytime. This library is open from 7:30 to 3:33 each day, and then in between classes. This year, obviously, because of COVID, things have changed. I actually have 3 classes in the library every day because their classes are too big for their space. And we also, so we kind of had to improvise. So we're doing an appointment schedule, and I have that online. And I also have an online system through my library program where the students can put books on hold, and I can deliver those to them. They can make an appointment to come by. And it's also, the teachers can call and they can come in. But I feel like through the website there's a lot of extra access since we can't necessarily physically be together.
And of course that access is 24/7.
24/7.
Okay. Dean Demas, I'd like for you all to address how you work together in order to meet students' needs.
Sure, there's 2 ways. As she mentioned, there's a website that we have specifically designed for dually enrolled students, faculty, and librarians. And that website is informational and lists all the different resources and access to services that Northeast State offers our dual enrolled students. The other way that we do is that we coordinate whenever students want materials to be delivered here. So at the Northeast State main campus in Blunteville, the library has over 70,000 print books, and we have over 7,000 audiovisual materials. And students on any one of our sites can have any one of those materials be requested to be delivered to any site, including Unicoi here. And so the students can go into the library catalog and actually find whatever they want delivered and put in a request, and then we would coordinate with the high school librarian in order to make sure that delivery takes place.
So walk us through that process for requesting a material.
It's very simple. They would actually go to the Northeast State Library website and use the library catalog and find all the materials that they need. And then there's a little button there that says request this. They just simply click it, and then they log in with their Northeast State username and password and choose where they want that item delivered.
And so these types of things that you described, the library services are available. How do students learn about those and learn to use them? How do faculty learn about those in order to share it with their students?
We do have some marketing in order to teach them about those things. In this case, with the dual enrolled students, all of that information is on that website, but it's also included in our library instruction. So we actually teach them about those resources and services that they have access to.
Is that library instruction delivered in the classroom by a librarian?
It is, absolutely. If a faculty member requests library instruction, we go to the classroom and we teach that library instruction session. We also teach it remotely via Zoom if they so desire it. And we also have pre-recorded library instruction modules that they can embed into our learning management system.
And if I want to speak with a librarian?
The process for contacting a librarian is very simple. We have multiple ways. They can contact us by telephone, by email, by texting. But the most popular way is to go to the website and use our online chat function. And they can also contact us via video chat too.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I believe our next stop is a classroom.
We've now made our way to the CTE building here on the Unicoi County campus. We are in front of a dedicated dual enrollment classroom that is only used for Northeast State dual enrollment students.
I can see that it is a computer classroom. What programs are offered at Unicoi County High School?
We have the General Education Academic Certificate, and as part of that, the University Parallel Dual Enrollment Program currently has on-ground Composition 1 and Composition 2 courses here at Unicoi County High School.
And what's the current enrollment?
We have 10 students enrolled.
And as far as modality, the only modalities at this particular instructional site this semester are on ground?
On ground, yes.
Tell me about the faculty teaching at the site.
We have one full-time faculty member who's teaching here at Unicoi County High School.
Is that faculty member domiciled here?
No, she is not.
Are there any Northeast State personnel members domiciled at this instructional site?
No, there are not.
Tell me about the dual enrollment staff who supports the program here at Unicoi County.
Okay, I'll explain the University Parallel Dual Enrollment Program. So we have a director, which is myself, and then we also have a dual enrollment coordinator for the University Parallel program. In addition to those 2 full-time positions, we have 2 temporary part-time positions who serve as dual enrollment substitutes if our faculty members ever need to be absent.
In relation to the Career and Technical Education Dual Enrollment Program, there are 3 full-time positions, the director, the coordinator, and then there is a coordinator of the dual credit program that works together with CTE dual enrollment students.
And then we also work with various offices at the Northeast State campus that provide support to us. Both programs work with the admissions office. We work regularly with the Advising Resource Center and the Accessibility Office. And then there's also an administrative assistant in the multi-campus programs division who supports all of us as needed.
So we've been talking about positions that the college funds. What about budgets? Does the University Parallel Dual Enrollment Program have its own budget?
Yes, we do, and that budget supports our 2 full-time administrative positions, the 2 temporary part-time positions, and operating costs. For instance, it covers travel to and from the high schools.
And would the same be true of the career and technical education?
The career and technical education budget provides for 1 administrative staff, and then the 2 other administrative positions in CTE is funded through grants.
What about your operational expenses? Do you have a budget for operational expenses?
Yes, we have a budget for our operational expenses.
Okay. And then what about the other costs associated with the dual enrollment program? Faculty costs, travel for faculty, instructional supplies. How's that covered?
Those are supported by the individual academic divisions on campus.
All right, thank you. Let's move on then from budget. We have talked about the programs available, the classes offered. We've talked about enrollment, faculty staffing. We've talked about budgets. Let's talk for just a minute about communication channels. I want to talk about the communication channels that are used by the dual enrollment teams as well as by student services in order to work with the students. What types of communication channels do you use in dual enrollment?
Sure. We have student interest meetings, we have orientation sessions and placement testing sessions here at Unicoi County High School. We send a welcome letter prior to the beginning of each semester to all the dual enrollment students that are enrolled at each of our schools, including Unicoi County High School. And then if we need to reach a student during the course of the semester, we typically go through the counseling office to do that.
Okay. In relation to career and technical education, do you have other communication channels that you use, or are they similar?
The same communication channels are used by the CTE office through what the University Parallel Dual Enrollment Program does.
All right, let's talk about recruiting for a minute. How do you go about recruiting students, and what types of materials are used for that?
We have student interest meetings to advertise our program options, and we also work closely with the counseling office to identify students that they feel would be good candidates to participate. This semester, in preparation for the spring semester, Unicoi County High School sent out a marketing survey that we asked them to share with their students. And that marketing survey will hopefully let us know of additional students that may want to enroll for the spring semester, and it will also help the University Parallel Dual Enrollment plan for future academic years.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add to that in relation to CTE? Will you use it for the same purposes?
The same holds true for the CTE office. The marketing survey will be used to determine courses that students might be interested in the spring. And then we also work with the high school to identify students who might be good candidates to do dual enrollment courses.
Do you ever work together to offer orientation sessions, meet with parents, any of those types of activities?
We do. We haven't done that at this particular high school, but we have done shared events at other high schools.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit now about policies and procedures and how they apply for dual enrollment students. In relation to things like refund policies, grading policies, initiating a complaint process, how do you communicate that from the student services perspective with dual enrollment students?
Okay, so our policies and procedures manual is actually online on the Northeast State website, as well as our college catalog and student handbook. And those types of policies are outlined in that student handbook. With regards to if a student has a concern or an issue or a complaint, on our homepage for Northeast State, there's a student tab. And on that student tab are all kinds of resources for students, one of which is a link to the complaint procedure, as well as the online form that students use to submit a written complaint.
Okay. Are there any particular processes that you all have in place to help ensure that students are well acquainted with policies and procedures and understand that they're governed by the college's policies and procedures?
Well, we have, I guess, two different documents. There's a memorandum of understanding that we have on file with all of the school systems that we partner with, and that document says explicitly that these classes follow the same policies and procedures as any other Northeast State class would follow. And then in addition to that, we have a dual enrollment student handbook that's posted on the dual enrollment website on Northeast State's website. And then it's also sent out to dual enrollment faculty members to post in D2L.
Okay. Since we don't have a faculty member here with us today during this time period, and you may not be able to answer this, but let me ask it. What about learning outcomes in relation to the expectations of students in dual enrollment classes as compared to a student in the same class on the main campus or any other Northeast State non-high school teaching site?
Mm-hmm. This would be true for both programs. Learning outcomes are the same regardless of location or class modality. Our instructors use the same syllabus, the same course materials, and the same grading policies for dual enrollment classes that they would use for any other Northeast State class.
Okay. In relation to the services that are provided dual enrollment students, how do you ensure that the college makes those same services available to dual enrollment students at Unicoi County High School?
Every year, the student services staff at Northeast State meet with the high school guidance counselors where we have the dual enrollment classes. And the student services staff do presentations to explain the types of services available. It gives the counselors the opportunity to meet those staff members and to learn more about how to communicate with them and how to contact them anytime there's a need to arrange services for a student.
And who is the primary contact or liaison between Northeast State and Unicoi County High School?
For the University Parallel dual enrollment program, it would be me.
Okay.
And for the Career and Technical Education dual enrollment program, it would be the director, Chelsea Rose.
Okay. I see that the dual enrollment program has been in place here since 2013. Based on your experience with the college and your interactions with Unicoi County High School, the students, the faculty, do you feel that the physical facilities and the resources offered are adequate?
Yes, I do.
Would you all agree?
I agree, yes.
Have you administered any student surveys to gather student information to find out how they feel?
Yes, and this is true for both programs. Dual enrollment students are encouraged to participate in the Enrolled Student Satisfaction Survey that's given each fall semester, and that survey does ask questions about physical facilities.
All right. Do students have input in relation to faculty? Do they have an opportunity to evaluate the faculty teaching their courses?
They do. Dual enrollment students are encouraged to participate in the IDEA evaluation process, which occurs towards the end of each semester, and that process is the same for dual enrollment students just like it would be for any other Northeast State student.
Okay. Another question in relation to faculty. Do the faculty who teach here have an opportunity to express their satisfaction?
Yes, they do. Dual enrollment faculty members are encouraged to complete the faculty satisfaction survey, and it asks questions specifically about high school teaching sites.
And when you mentioned the student satisfaction survey, what types of things does that encompass in relation to the questions? Is it a measurement of the services provided, the academic and support services provided?
Yes, it does.
And so then, if the student services learns of a negative within those results, what would be the next steps to address that?
Well, we would look at that and we would work with the staff in the department that provides that service to develop a corrective action plan that we would then pilot the next semester to make improvements.
Okay. I believe that concludes my questions. And I don't believe this concludes our tour, however. We've not yet met the principal, so I'd like to meet him next. morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to visit, to tour your campus, and to talk with you for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
If you would, introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Dr. Chris Bogert. I'm the principal here at Unicoi County High School.
Dr. Bogert, give us a snapshot of the high school overall.
Okay. So we have roughly 755 students. We have I guess, poverty rate of around 40% as a school, maybe a little higher that's not reported. Our main ethnicity is white primarily. Hispanic is our second largest minority population. We have about a 20% student with disability population, which is probably a little higher than some, but that's just kind of where we are right now as a school. Currently, we have 164 students who are participating virtually, but right now we have about 580 students who are in the building right now, but we are back at 100% as far as school goes.
Let's talk about technology for just a minute. Talked with Justin a little bit about technology. What's your role in relation to being sure that the technology available to the students is both appropriate to their coursework as well as up to date?
Mm-hmm. So my role initially was to find the best devices, to help find the best devices, being part of the planning and decision-making process in terms of do we want devices for all the students? That was our first question. What could we do with those? And we did decide to go with Google Chromebooks for our students. We've had iPads in the past, but now all of our students have Google Chromebooks, and all of our teachers utilize Google Classroom as a learning system. And so my role in that was just to determine which was the best fit for our students, and talking to our teachers and our planning process, working with our district staff, looking at the budget and what we could do, obviously there. We're talking to our district technology folks. And then for me, really, it's working with our central office technology supervisor to make sure that our network is always working. When there's problems, we get them addressed quickly, whether it's software, hardware, whatever it may be. Sorry. But that's really my role, is to make sure that everything continues to work in terms of the hardware. And then from a training standpoint, working with our instructional technology coach to help train our teachers, find the best use of our training dollars, our training time. How can we help the teachers understand how they work with the devices so that they become a tool for our students to really utilize both here and at home, wherever they may be working at.
And so Unicoi County High School provides the dual enrollment students, the students we share, with the Chromebooks for their coursework.
We do. Every student, regardless of grade level or classes, every student gets a Chromebook.
Okay. Let's move from technology to safety and security. How do you help ensure the safety and security of the campus, both outside and inside the building?
Well, the first thing is our regular reviewing of our safety plan, making sure that we have a safety plan that meets our needs, that we each year we go through and do safety assessment walkthroughs prior to the students arriving at school, and we have basically a standard form that checks all the different areas of the entire campus, not just inside the school, but like I said, outside, the grounds, even our sports facilities. We look at everything from the fencing at sports facilities to the parking, to the entrances, signage, everything that we have. So every year we do a review of our safety plan with our safety committee, and we make sure that everything that we may learn one year, we implement in the next year. We keep up with drills regularly, fire drills, lockdown drills, any kind of emergency drill. We have a list, and each month we have certain ones that we do. Last year we actually had a safety week where we worked on all of our drills in one particular week and spent the week emphasizing safety throughout the school with the students. So we spend a lot of time training, a lot of time planning, and then once we get into school and we get kids here, we have our school resource officer on site. Myself and the other assistant principals, we're constantly checking hallways, doors. I'm outside. The other assistant principals are always walking around the building. Pretty much, every couple of days I'm doing walkthroughs to check all of our doors, make sure our doors are still locked and all those things. And then we also work with our counseling department quite a bit to help with kids' social emotional needs, which helps with safety as well, because we want to address it if kids don't feel safe, if kids feel threatened, if kids are getting frustrated or angry about certain situations. One of the things that we try to do is diffuse possible violent situations between students before they take place. We just ask kids to give us a chance, before. And so we do what we've been trained on restorative justice, restorative practices, and try to work with kids to restore relationships when things happen. So spend a lot of time, spend in conversations with students. And then we also have the ability, students can come to us at any time and talk to us about possible threats and things that they, feel uncomfortable about. We ensure the anonymity of the students to come and give us things that they may be concerned about, and then we can go and deal with them ourselves. So I think all those pieces play into what we do in terms of safety here.
And in relation to the drills that you mentioned, if a Northeast State dual enrollment class is in session at the time a drill occurs,
Yes.
then those students, as well as that Northeast State faculty member, do they participate in that drill?
Always, yes. Everyone in the building has to participate. It's not an option. So everybody has to participate.
Okay. And in relation to, you mentioned the health of students, what protocols have you followed or changes have you had to make as a result of COVID?
Well, with COVID, obviously masks. All the students wear masks. Our hallways are one direction hallways, and so students we keep kids from passing in the hallways. We didn't give out lockers this year. One of the things with our Chromebooks, great thing is we really don't need physical textbooks as much. And so if there are textbooks being used, our teachers use them in the classroom. But then other textbooks that we can access online, we use through the Chromebook. So we didn't give out lockers so the kids aren't stopping and congregating in the hallways. So kids have to go straight from one class to the next. In the classrooms, we have seating charts that are now required in all of our classes to help with contact tracing down the road. And then also in the cafeteria. So we went from 3 lunch shifts to 4 lunch shifts to spread out or lessen the number of people who are in the cafeteria. And then our cafeteria seats, so where we have 12 tables that have 12 seats, we've cut that in half to be 6, and they sit diagonally, so they're there's 3 feet between each of them. And then we actually, and this was a process, we developed seating charts in the cafeteria. So even when a kid comes to lunch, we know where they sit in lunch, so we can help with contact tracing as well there. We actually we have an isolation room now, which is separate from our clinic, which is right over here in our office. We have an isolation room for kids who have symptoms that might be related to COVID. So instead of bringing them here in the office, teachers call down to the nurses station and we meet them at our isolation room. The nurse makes the assessment there, and then we can keep them away from the rest of the population that way.
Okay, great. Well, I believe the only other thing that we'd like to see, we haven't yet seen, is that SRO office.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Okay, so on the opposite end of the school from the main offices, we have our student entrance, which comes from the bus stop and our student parking lot. And this office here, right at our student doors, is a school resource officer office. So he provides coverage for us throughout the campus. But he's here on site before 7 o'clock in the morning and then stays until 3 o'clock when all the buses and traffic have cleared. And he works out of this office so that we have an administrator and SRO on one side of the building and then 2 other administrators on the other side of the building, office-wise. And so we've got people on each end of the building all